Hello everyone, and welcome to another great day of NGS action. Today, just gonna be the single game, but we're going to the heroic division between Durotan's Couch and Rodney's Imaginary Friends. Now, take a look over at the standings. It is the upper middle teams, 4th place Rodney's Imaginary Friends and 7th place Durotan's Couch. But it is also important to note that Rodney's Imaginary Friends have played 2 games less than anyone else in this division, or 2 games less at least than Durotan's Couch, while still being 3 points up. They've been having an absolutely wonderful season. They're definitely looking to end near the top of the standings for the heroic division, but Durotan's Couch has also performed incredibly well. They've had a lot of very good games, a lot of very good series. And now that we're getting close to that playoffs, that's where things are really going to start heating up, so will be fun to see how both of these 2 teams do end up playing. Now, coin toss was won by Durotan's Couch, and they took first pick. So map pick did go over to Rodney's Imaginary Friends. They banned out Volskaya Foundry and Cursed Hollow. Durotan's Couch banned away Tomb of the Spider Queen and Brax's Holdout. The map number 1 is going to be the Dragon Shire. Now, Dragonshire, definitely one of those fun maps. Have to control a huge variety of the map, and we've been seeing some very interesting strategies coming out on this map. Not necessarily in the heroic division, but over in B West. We noticed a few teams starting to have the anchors playing in the top and the bottom lane while sending 3 of their members up towards mid. It's definitely been opening up the macro potential on the map. It's definitely been opening up a lot of different strategies throughout this game. So definitely a map that I'm looking forward to watching. Well, with that being said, all 10 players are in the lobby. Ready checks are getting started right now. But before we get in, would like to give a special shout out to Legend of Mushroom. Legend of Mushroom is this channel's newest sponsor. It is an idle mobile RPG game. And essentially, you're a mushroom, you're constantly fighting, and you're watching the numbers go up, numbers go burr. If you like that kind of game, and you just like seeing the numbers go up while you're chilling back on the couch watching TV, then Legend of Mushroom is the game for you. Download for free with the panel below or exclamation mushroom in chat. And even just installing the game really helps this channel out a lot and lets me bring my best casts over to you. Yeah, with that, we are still going to be waiting on the ready check and should be getting started soon. Everyone is here. And okay, yeah, ready check is done. We're getting started. We're going to the Dragon Shire.
Dragon Shire.
All right, let's get those predictions running. Let's see which of these 2 teams will end up on top. And this should be a pretty close series. I mean, Rodney's Imaginary Friends in terms of points and especially in terms of win rate, they're definitely higher than Durotan's Couch, but not by that much. And Durotan's Couch has definitely shown that they can compete with the best. So it's just going to be a nice, close game where we get to see how both these 2 teams do decide to play. But now, first few bans should be coming out momentarily. And the bans I commonly see, especially, is that Lucio. Drinko plays that a lot. And I've been seeing it banned against Drinko a lot. And when it's not, Drinko picks it and performs exceptionally well on it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lucio does get banned within the first phase even. But instead, Durotan's Couch going to ban away Chromie as their first pick. Now, I'm trying to remember what the main picks for Durotan's Couch were. My apologies for not remembering. I do believe they enjoy their Garrosh. From what I remember, they really like playing at strange angles coming in. with weird flanks, and then just using that Wrecking Ball to reposition someone and just get a pretty free pick off that way. But the Joanna is going to be the first ban instead. I mean, Joanna, I don't think there's anyone who's known for their Joanna. I may be wrong, but Joanna's just one of those heroes. It's pretty easy to pilot. It's pretty easy to have very solid effectiveness coming out from it. And for a tank, it also does deal quite a bit of damage too. It's just a very solid all-round tank. Does struggle a bit more at engage compared to some of the other picks, especially since it does rely a bit on that Blessed Shield at level 10 in order to be able to get that clean engage. But Junkrat going to be the second ban coming out of Durotan's couch. And on Dragonshire, it kind of makes sense. It is pretty hard to try and take control of one of those Dragon Shrines. When there's a Junkrat playing against you, throwing down the bombs, putting down the mines, and the traps is just so much harder to play into those choke points, trying to get onto the point. But now final ban will be coming out of Rodney's Imaginary Friends. And it will be the Maiev. So trying to get rid of those playmakers, try and make sure that no one else can really follow up with that. But now first pick was selected by Durotan's couch, and I'm curious what they wanted. And it looks like they are going to be prioritizing that Vala for Goliath. I mean, very solid DPS, is really good no matter how you want to build it. It can either be the burst build through Hungering Arrow, can be the consistent DPS with the auto attack build. And in my opinion, one of the more fun things about it is that, I mean, you can even do the multi-shot build in certain situations. It's really rare where it is the best talent. Usually either the auto attack or the Hungering Arrow build will perform better, but definitely seen it locked in a couple times. And actually it's going to be the Kharazim locked in for Drinko. First phase. That is a really interesting pick. Sylvanas is also going to get locked in by Snarfungus, but I'm wondering what the logic is behind picking it first. And part of me is wondering if maybe they could be considering a double heal composition. Kharazim is definitely one of those picks that performs really well with a dual healer. And I'm wondering if partially that's why the Uther was locked in for Yonners, as Blaze is also locked in for Wildcard. Because typically when you are doing that double healer, Uther is usually a part of it. Just because of that extra frontline tankiness, it does provide a little bit more than just basic healing, provides a lot of crowd control as well. I mean, they don't necessarily need to do a double healer, and it doesn't necessarily need to be an Uther, but it is definitely one of those stronger options. And it looks like Rodney's Imaginary Friends are worried about that as well, because they did ban away the Oriel. Hey, they want to make sure that there's no double healer coming out from the side of Durotan's couch. And now one final ban will be coming in. I mean, there's still a lot of positions they can try to ban away, whether it's the tanks or the flex. I mean, there's still a lot. Rodney's Imaginary Friends only showing 2. Does make this third ban a bit harder to do, but they're going to ban away the Garrosh, trying to remove the Playmaker from Rodney. And, I mean, there's still a decent amount of tanks left. Tanks have been relatively untouched. There's still the Anubrak if they want one of those clean engages. Muradin's available if they just want that beefy frontliner. I mean, both teams will have options for that when they are picking their main tanks. And it is going to be the Maltheo locked in for Asmochad and the Muradin for Rodney. Though, like I said, the Muradin was definitely going to be one of the 2 picks. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I actually would be a little bit surprised if Anubrak does get picked by Durotan's couch. I don't think it's the worst here. I think it would definitely perform fine. But it is a lot harder to jump onto Kharazim or Sylvanas or Maltheo. Like, everyone on that team has pretty easy methods of getting out of fights. And it's going to be Imperius for I Just Fizzed. And Malfurion for Captain Wedge. I was even going to say, I feel like it is going to end up being Yonners on Uther. Main tanking. Just because if you already have the Blaze and the Imperius, at that point you definitely don't need a true tank. And Uther can definitely fulfill that role. And especially with the double heals coming out of both Uther and Malfurion, they're going to have health to spare, but it is going to be solo DPS coming out of Goliath. Now, Goliath can definitely do it, especially on the Vala. Vala is really good as a DPS. We saw that yesterday. As the final pick for Rodney's Imaginary Friends, going to be the Falstad for Rayvar. Now, I do suspect it is going to be the Hammerang build, but we will see. It is a pseudo triple front line coming out of Durotan's couch as well. But yeah, either way, the drafts are done, and I don't think I can give either of these two teams the advantage. I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot more healing on Durotan's couch, but Sylvanas and Falstad are going to be able to provide a lot of damage and could definitely push their way through, especially with that silence from Snarfungus. But either way, it's time for game number 1.
Heroes, prepare for combat.
All right, and here we are. Immediately into the pause. Let's go. Alrighty then. Just gonna be... Okay, so this is interesting. One of the players was AFK and they were supposed to do a swap. So we are gonna be having a remake. That's fun. Okay, yeah, so we're not getting started quite yet. Let me just get the music going as we wait for the new lobby to be created. But I mean, the drafts are still going to be the same. They're just going to change who's playing what. And both teams did agree to it, and like they agreed to it the second they loaded in. So there was nothing played. Most talents weren't even picked yet, so I don't think it's anything like that. Just going to be a simple remake that both teams are happy with. I apologize for the yawning. My allergies have been really bad the last week, and they always put me right to bed. I swear I'm not as tired as I look or I'm acting, but it definitely makes me feel super tired. It's hard to describe, because it's like my body feels energetic, but my eyes just make me want to sleep, and it just has a weird chain effect. But hopefully it's not going to last too much longer. It's just going to be being like that while we're still in the allergy season. And Travis Party, thank you for the follow. Yeah, hopefully we can get that lobby coming up soon. I'm going to snipe the lobby. They usually invite me and I'm just going to join in on it. And it is going to be... When it says standard lobby, is that quick match? I hope it is. It usually gets us into the game a bit quicker, so always a fan when teams do decide to do that instead. Yeah, everyone just needs to ready up and then we're good to go. Yeah, so we are doing that quick pick. In case anyone's never seen it before, this is what a custom quick pick lobby looks like. I know it's something that a lot of people just never really had to do, but just a neat little thing that does exist. Oh, JK. And we're back to the waiting. Yeah, it's apparently the same player still missing. Well, oh well, we know we're in the standard, we're in the quick match pick. That is one of the more unfortunate side effects of being one of them casters where you're just at the mercy of the way the players want to set up their lobbies. I mean, once we're in game, it's usually fine. We will have the occasional pause, but that's not the biggest deal, so. But just need to wait for the players to come back and to get ready. All right, all the players are back in. Everyone is finally readying up yet again. And third time's the charm. As we're doing our third and hopefully final ready check. And now we can get started. We're heading into Dragonshire for game number 1 between Durotan's couch and Rodney's imaginary hero. Or Rodney's imaginary friends. I don't know where the heroes came from. Well, there we go. We're loaded in. We're ready to go. Whoops, I messed up some stuff. There we go. Now I'm ready to go. But either way, we're finally getting in. This is already the furthest we've gotten into this game so far. So this is a good sign that everything is correct. Now, out of the main talents that I see constantly changing between games, it is going to be Creed the Hunter coming out from Goliath. And that is typically what you do take when you are that solo carry, when you are that hyper carry with double healer Vala. You do need that extra bit of consistent DPS because you're going to have to be providing so much of that damage. But what is interesting is that it's going to be an auto attack fall stat as well. It's not going to be the hammering build. It will be the frequent flyer. As Wildcard trying to approach. And they will have a few trades, but the real push is happening over in this bot lane. Snarfungus and Drinko utilizing the black arrows, just immediately going to be pushing for Rodney. Starting to get caught out with the entangling roots. That's actually going to be first blood. Yawners of all people ended up getting it. But that's a pretty big kill to start. Just trying to match for Drinko and Snarfungus, trying to make sure they had that little bit of extra time to get more damage on the structures. But unfortunately tried to push it a little bit too far. But now Asmochat trying to get in Wildcard's way, just poking them out. As the push in the bot lane has come through a little bit. Not going to be able to deal quite as much as Rodney's imaginary friends did, but with that extra kill, they're going to have that extra experience as Rayvar. Could be getting jumped upon, but Celestial Charge not going to be able to land. And now the Shrines are going to get started in about 25 seconds as Rayvar grouping up into the top side. And it looks like they want Wildcard, but the Jet Propulsion will be able to buy more than enough space. As now both teams do back out and start collecting all of their siege camps. But now, as we can see, like this bottom cannon tower did take a decent amount of beating, but it is still up. It is still available. No experience has gone over to Rodney's imaginary friend. So this is a pretty good spot for them as Rayvar is trading into Idris Fizz. Hand of Justice is going to land on a Rodney. And I believe that might have interrupted the Dwarf Toss, but Rodney should be able to just walk it out anyway. But Celestial Charge will land. And once again, they're just pulling on a Rodney. And with the Hammer of Justice, not going to be able to lock Rodney down entirely, but that's still around 80% of that Muradin's health. Luckily with the trade and with the healing coming out of Drinko will be fine, but that's twice now. They've been able to just chain CC down Rodney and just keep wailing away. And it also gives quite a bit of stacks over for this Creed of the Hunter, already at 21. Obviously it is a Gambit, so they do need to keep this Vala alive. We'll still be able to provide good value regardless, but now Wildcard getting jumped on again, and with the Jet Propulsion, they're able to get in its way. Wildcard starting to get taken down low, but just a little bit, not enough damage. 80 HP, and able to just regen up that last little bit of DPS. And I mean, those kills do matter a lot for Rodney's imaginary friends, especially if Rayvar is part of it. That frequent flyer does get bonus attack damage whenever they get a kill, but now they have the chain CC, and it is going to be on a Snarfungus, but the healing will come out from Drinko just in time. It's a dangerous composition here. Once the cleanse comes out, it will be a little bit easier, but definitely rough to start trying to deal with it, because I guess I didn't realize this when looking into it, and they just have so much crowd control. Basically, every single member of their team will have a method of crowd control. Obviously, the Vala is going to need Rain of Vengeance on Goliath, assuming they're going to go Rain of Vengeance. Most of the time it is. But yeah, it's interesting just how much crowd control they have and how much damage they can put behind it. I think with a double healer and the CC, it'll also lower the amount of DPS they do have to take. And because of that, Goliath is going to be even more alive, even harder to pin down. And trying to get rid of those auto attack stacks, lowering that attack speed is going to be pretty big. As actually, somehow, during all that, Rodney's imaginary friends able to take the Dragon Knight. Now, Snarfungus is going to be piloting it, brings it over to the mid lane. And that was just the Bruiser camp being taken by Durotan's Couch. I guess neither side, nor myself, really expected that to go over. Now, Goliath, one little fun fact for those of you who do not know, but the Dragon Knight does count as a hero, as Drinko and Rodney actually get a kill over in the bot lane, 2v2. So if you have any quests that need to hit enemy heroes, the Dragon Knight does count. Every single auto does count for that Creed of the Hunter. Now, Wildcard is pretty low. Rayvar and Asmochat have a lot of HP, but Yawners is here, Goliath's here. so they can no longer force the play over in that top lane. Now, Snarfungus still inside the Dragon Knight, gonna try burning down the mid lane. Probably won't be able to get too much damage done onto these structures. We'll breathe a little bit of fire, and that'll probably be it. But even taking down the wall in the lane is pretty big for the first Dragon Knight of the game, especially if it's this early on, only 4 minutes into the game before it does go down. But now massive wave over in the bot lane, but a dive happening at top. Wildcard going to get finished off by Snarfungus and Asmachad, and with the black arrows could survive, but Snarfungus does get hit by the Celestial Charge, but they're able to just back away. Luckily, it was not hitting onto those targets. But Captain Wedge actually also will get taken down decently low, as Ravar and Snarfungus just kind of kite themselves out of it. It will be difficult to burst anyone down because both healers are there, but it's still 2-1 in terms of kills for Rodney's Imaginary Friends, as Goliath goes into Ravar, but Snarfungus was also there. And that's one of those fun things where Goliath had the limit, knew the limit, but didn't know Snarfungus was there. And that's actually a really big kill for Rodney's Imaginary Friends to get. Not only is that an extra stack for Frequent Flyer, but that's going to remove 5% attack speed from Goliath. When you're on that Gambit, it is pretty important to try and play a bit more safe. It does have the first stack, so we'll still get the 1% bonus damage for Stack of Hatred. And it is important to note that even if they do lose all the stacks, they're still going to be able to get some of that advantage. They're still going to be able to get some value. As now Wildcard able to kill Melthiel over in the offlane, and I'm just missing every single kill today. They're just fighting in strange ways. That's my defense. But now Rodney's Imaginary Friends will be able to take out this camp over the back line. But now Ravar may have gone a bit too far and will get burst down immediately. And now it's 4v3 in the bot lane. Rain of Vengeance will land on it too. But it is just Rodney left on the wrong side of the wall. Will be able to just jump over with the Dwarf Toss. But the Bruiser camp at the very least will be able to... Oh no, never mind. They will not be able to finish off this cannon tower that they started in that level 1 play. But it will help provide a little bit of pressure. Now Asmachad still matching into Wildcard up here. Rodney and Drinko are over in the mid lane, but I suspect they will start rotating down to this bot lane. As Snarfungus trying to clear away these minions, but now Hand of Justice into so many stuns, just literally everything piled on top of Rodney, but it's still going to be Aegis Fizz that's getting low. D-Shield burn. And not just D-Shield, but the Tranquility as well, just trying to provide that extra healing, extra survivability. And I think you definitely take that. Wailing Arrow was used by Snarfungus near the end there, but 2 for 1 in terms of heroics, and that will also be giving the pressure in the bot lane towards Rodney's Imaginary Friends. And with both of those 2 big healer heroics out of the way, they should feel pretty safe pushing this out. However, it is 4v3 now. Dragon Knight will go over. 7-sided strike will hit Aegis Fizz, but Rodney will go down in the process. But now Wrath of the Angears able to pick up Drinko. Does Drinko have the stash? It doesn't matter, because Durotan's Couch, once again, just so many stuns. And now it is going to be a 2-for-0, but the main objective does go over to Rodney's Imaginary Friends. They're going to have the Dragon Knight. It is going to be on Ravar, just trying to finish off this mid lane fort, and will be able to. But the question is, can Ravar survive the way out? It's definitely not the best position for it, as Wildcard gonna get punted towards this top side. Ravar gotta get hit, and the entangling roots as well. The Gust will provide a bit of space, but not too much, but more than enough, as Ravar will be able to back away. Level 13's now on both sides, as the levels are pretty even, and Snarfungus actually took down a good chunk of this bot lane wall during that play, as both teams are just going to be on both of their camps. So all 4 camps will get taken off the map shortly. And without any objectives on the map, neither side really feels the need to start playing forward. Neither side really feels the need to start walking up. It's Snarfungus. It will be in a bad spot. Will get stunned up. And now with the chain CC, Snarfungus just immediately going to go down. And I've been just being a broken record today, but this is just non-stop crowd control coming out of Durotan's Couch. There's only so much you can do, but if you're caught and there's no cleanse near you, you're just going to go down. They have more than enough damage from Goliath, and I think even Rodney needs to be careful, as they almost managed to land it. But now Hand of Justice, Wrath of the Angears. And this is what I mean. The healer is there, and even so, Rodney almost goes down. Stormbolt will buy a little bit of space, and still at 200 HP. Now the bot fork will go down, but Rayvar able to trade that out in the top side. So overall in terms of structures, still slightly the lead as Rodney's imaginary friends, but these fights are definitely starting to go more and more Durotan's Couch's way. Just constantly finding picks, and they're able to get pressure after they do get those picks. And I think that's the most important part. Getting a kill is one thing, getting something out of that kill, that's what really shines. But now Rayvar could be in a bad spot. They're all looking for it, but the minions will be able to dismount them, so Rayvar can just fly away safely. But all 10 members are looking over in this mid lane. But neither side really wants to go aggressive. Durotan's Couch definitely pressuring a little bit onto this wall. As with the Haymaker, is going to be in the backline. And we'll just get burst down. That 7-sided strike doing so much damage alongside Snarfungus. So now finally Rodney's imaginary friends can get a kill in their side, on their end. And with that, they'll have control of both the shrines. Now, Asmochat, I'm not sure if they'll be able to lock in the Dragon Knight, but nothing there to prevent it. And Asmochat, I think we'll just be able to get it. So that's going to be 3 Dragon Knights almost completely off cooldown for Rodney's imaginary friends, as Rayvar dealing so much damage to Wildcard, but Wildcard just wants to trade it back. Uses that Pyromania to get that extra DPS. So the Falstad will have to back up, get a little bit of healing, but luckily, as we can see up here, did manage to tap that well. But the push is still coming through. Just 1 fork remaining. Goliath going to get knocked back into the mid lane as the fire is coming through, but the cleanse is going to be there for Snarfungus. And without that cleanse, there would have been so much more CC layered on. But now the fight could be breaking up. The tranquility has been burnt as Rodney looking forward, looking towards Captain Wedge. But right now, they're still struggling to get that extra push into the double healer. It is difficult as Drenko barely able to dash away in time. And Rayvar is in the top lane, so it is a 4v5 here. As now with the Dragon Knight a little bit low as well, and the entire side of Durotan's Couch is there, so this could be a dangerous position to be in. But it has the cleanse, has the unstoppable, looking out into the back line. But now both teams are here. Wrath of the Anguirus able to get Rayvar, and now with all that chain CC, not going to be able to get it. Drenko coming in clutch with the cleanse, with the heal, and Rayvar able to just back away. But they still have the pressure over in this backside. They were still able to force out so many abilities from Rodney's imaginary friends. So they will at least take themselves a siege camp as a consolation prize. But that's still losing 3 Dragon Knights in a row is definitely going to be hard for them, considering they have overall been winning in the fights. But now Rayvar going to be pushing out that top side as well. And someone will need to come back to deal with this. Now, Durotan's Couch will take their own siege camp as well. But either way, this cannon will be able to get just a little bit of poke for now. And actually more than a little bit. That thing is strong. I always forget how much damage those cannons do over to the structures. As we do have a bot in chat when we just go that. But now Bruiser Camp will get taken by Rodney's imaginary friends. Durotan's Couch going to match that as well. And we're not going to have any more talent advantages up until that level 20. But now the Celestial Charge, they do have it. And Rayvar will just go down. Without Drenko there is no getting away once that first stun lands. And now Rodney could be in a bad spot as well. But will be able to jump out in time. But the pressure definitely coming out of Durotan's Couch, and it looks like they want to start pressuring over towards this bot lane. And they're just pinging onto this cannon tower, just trying to get anything they can off of the map. Now there is a bit of trading. Top lane, Wildcard versus Asmochat. Last rights should be there if they need it. As Asmochat doesn't even want to use them, just save them for the next team fight. I believe they took last rights. Yeah, they did. I just decided not to use them. Now the Haymaker, not going to be able to knock anyone back. It was used, but because of the unstoppable, Wrath of the Anguirus going to go wide, but Tranquility just healing everyone up. Drenko trying to keep Rodney alive, and with the Dwarf Toss, will be able to back out. Well, luckily, with that extra kill on the top side, it will give a little bit more pressure towards Rodney's imaginary friends. They don't need to worry at least about one lane for now. Now for 20 seconds, there will be a 5v4 on the map in favor of Rodney's imaginary friends. And it looks like they are looking to get mid lane pressure. But all 4 members of Durotan's Couch, they are just playing in that death ball. And I think when you have double healer, triple frontline, that is the way to play. Overall, frontliners, especially to like Melthus, Asmochad, going to be able to melt through them. But if it's also with a double healer all bringing up together, they're strong as a composition, not as heroes. And now they will be able to take control of this top shrine, and the musical shrines are going to be played because Snarfungus is going to retake the bottom shrine. And it does seem like both teams are probably just going to be going back and forth until one of them gets caught out. As level 20s are up right now for Rodney's Imaginary Friends. And I just is going to be able to scout out that brush where Rodney was waiting patiently, looking for that kill. And the musical lanes will continue. Asmochat is going to be up here in the top side. Captain Wedge and I just fizzed, already roaming down to the bot lane. Now the real question is, where is it going to stop? But now Wildcard could be getting jumped on, but the Stormbolt not going to land. If they manage to get that Stormbolt, I think Wildcard would be in a very bad position. But what is happening right now is level 20 is hit by Durotan's couch. But Rodney's Imaginary Friends, they have the wave and they have the push on the top side. So they're just going to start shredding down these structures. I mean, 36 stacks on Frequent Flyer is quite a bit. That's a lot of extra DPS. Just hitting onto everything, especially with a bonus damage. But now Durotan's couch, they want to reply. They're aiming for this bot lane themselves. They have the siege camp to help them. But the question is, who's going to be able to push in further? Durotan's couch currently behind on the play. But they could look for the fight and almost landing that. But now Stormbolt is going to be looking for the backline. Haymaker going to get used, but with the cleanse just going to be there to deal damage. Now it is going to be key for key, plus Tranquility does get burned, and they do have Snarfungus, but not able to land anything else, and the rest of the Gear's not going to land, and they have the Wailing Arrow. They're looking towards Captain Wedge, and they're able to take it out. D-Shield never able to come out in time, but the push is still happening. 4v5, they're still looking for the play, as Rodney doesn't want to let them reset, throwing out the Stormbolt. They're able to find Wildcard, but the engage is so difficult. Rodney finally going to commit with the Dwarf Toss, able to dodge out on the Celestial Charge. Wildcard in the backline is alone. Snarfungus is trying to DPS on Aegis Fizz, and Wildcard is just the one trying to frontline, but will get taken down. Aegis Fizz in the middle of everyone, able to land on the Snarfungus, but cleansed out by Drinko. And our Wrath of the Angears is coming through, but Aegis Fizz is the one that's going to be in a bad spot. Last strikes will come through, but they weren't even needed. Now Goliath, the one that needs to survive, will not. They will be able to get that kill, and it's a 4-0. Yawners, last one to survive, and with flight, Yawners will also follow, and it's a 5-0 clean team fight coming out of Rodney's Imaginary Friends, and they could look to end the game now, because it is just going to be Yawners, Wildcard, I believe. No, Wildcard, Captain Wedge, there we go, that one. It's just going to be Captain Wedge on that Uther, and there's no way they'll be able to defend. And just like that, with one clean team fight, Rodney's Imaginary Friends, they're going to take game number 1. Close game, very back and forth for most of the game, but in the end, it was just one big team fight. The base race kind of forcing Durotan's couch to play aggressive, to try and force a play over in that bot lane. Otherwise, they ended up losing out too hard in the top. And they got punished for it, and they got punished for it hard. Their CC layering did work for a while, but once that cleanse came out, once that talent came out of the Kharazim, that cleansing touch at level 16, this on its own really helped them win that game. I think any other talent would not have done it. Drinko coming out the clutch cleanses, and I mean, overall, the team played super well in the end. They really out-team fought, and so they deserve that win. But now with that, we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, it'll be game number 2. So don't go anywhere. All right, welcome everyone to map number 2, Garden of Terror. Let's get those predictions running. But it will be the Garden of Terror. Now, Cursed Hollow was one of the 2 maps that was actually banned away this game. Garden of Terror is pretty similar, but with a couple key differences. First of all, instead of tributes, it's those seeds that you have to sprout, that are sprouting. And they are actually defended, so you need to take some time before you can just collect it. Second of all, there are no bosses on Garden of Terror. And third of all, it is going to be a little bit weaker overall as the objective. The Garden Terrors are strong, but not quite as strong as the curses. But either way, we're headed into this draft. We're headed into the bans. And first ban coming out of Durotan's couch is once again going to be the Chromie. So Chromie is definitely going to be a pretty value pick there. I mean, I've seen it across every single division. I've seen it across every single elo. Chromie's just devastating. The raw DPS that comes out, the control you get, that slowing sand is so difficult to play into. You can just fully zone or section off a zone. It's pretty insane how it works. And now Joanna gonna get banned as well. And just waiting for the next 2 bans coming out. Now I'm trying to remember. I believe they banned away the Junkrat last time, so Durotan's couch could look towards that again. I don't believe it is quite as strong on Gardens of Terror, but they're still going to ban it away. I mean, it's still good on every single map. I just think that the smaller the map is, the smaller the objective area is, the more valuable the Junkrat is. Garden of Terror definitely has a bit more wider space for those objectives than they do on something like D Shire, where there's just those 2 small entrances and you're able to fully block it off. And now final ban going to be coming out of Rodney's Imaginary Friends. And they're going to ban away the Uther. They just don't want to deal with that. Last time was played by Captain Wedge. And I mean, that game was really close. Rodney's Imaginary Friends definitely ended up coming out on top, but that could have easily gone either way. Either of those 2 teams could have been the ones to pull away with the victory. But Goliath going to take the first pick, Falstad. And Vala was available this time around, but it is a pretty large map. They saw how much damage Rayvar was able to deal with it, so they decided they're just going to remove it entirely. Now Sylvanas is still available. Snarfungus wants to pick that up again. The Vala is available if they want to throw that onto Rayvar or Snarfungus. And it is going to be the Hogger coming out of Asmochad, and the Sylvanas will once again be played by Snarfungus. And I mean, it's a hero she plays a lot. I've seen her play in a lot of different matches, even back in the Nexus division last season. Sylvanas is just one of those heroes. It's really solid. It's very consistent, most importantly, and it kind of works everywhere. It's a one-size-fits-all kind of hero. But now Yawner is going to lock in the Brightwing, and Wildcard again going to be on the Blaze. Now the offlaners are picked, and once again, the tanks are still available for both these 2 teams. Last time, that's when they really started banning them away. I believe they did end up banning the a different healer right now for Rodney's Imaginary Friends. I don't remember who they ended up banning. Might have been the Stukov. I don't know. But this time, they are going to ban away the ETC. As Durotan's couch, last time here, they banned away the Garrosh. And I think Garrosh could still be a good ban for them. I mean, they do have some answers to it. Falstad's able to kite a bit better. Brightwing does have that polymorph they could use. But if they're worried about playmaking, it's never the straightforward Garrosh that you're worried about. You're worried about the coming in from the side. And with Hogger and Sylvanas, they're going to be able to follow up on a lot of those plays, as they are both very mobile heroes. But it's going to be the Samuro ban instead. Now that's a pretty interesting ban, because Hogger's already picked. So that's kind of saying we want to make sure you don't have a main carry Samuro. Not main carry, because Sylvanas is going to be doing that, but like kind of the flex Samuro instead of the offlane Samuro. It doesn't change too much for it, especially in Garden of Terror. Doing a 1-3-1 or something similar is very easy. As Diablo and Deckard Cain locked in for Rodney and Drinko. Very solid team composition coming out. That will open up the possibility for Stay a While and Listen into the Apocalypse. A very solid combo, played a lot back in the day. It is a little bit harder to pull off just in case Decker does get interrupted. You have to stop DPS when doing it. All of that other fun nonsense. But last two picks are going to be coming through, and it will be the Greymane for I Just Fizzed and the Garage for Captain Wedge. Now, with the Greymane, I do suspect it's not going to be the Worgen build, just because Hogger and Diablo will make that a lot more difficult. But I can dream, you know? A man can dream. It is my favorite build to watch. One of my favorite builds to cast with that 15 armor. Gotta give the credit where it's due. But either way, Rave are going to be final pick, and we'll lock in the Genji. And that's a fun pick as well, because both Falstad and Greymane, I suspect it is going to be the human auto-attacking Greymane. They're not going to be able to deal with Genji too well. Deflect's going to have a lot of good value. And most of their crowd control isn't too easy to land. They do have the Polymorph for Brightwing and then anything with Garrosh. But outside of that, there's really not too much to deal with. But either way, it's time for game number 2. And here's a little preview for the sponsor. All right, and now we are in, and once again, huge shout outs to Legend of Mushroom for sponsoring my stream. Legend of Mushroom, as you saw, it's an idle RPG. Just level up, get stronger, take down your enemies, and watch numbers go up. Download for free today, and even just installing the game helps me out a lot. So be sure to click the link in the chat or the panel down below. But now we are in game. We are ready to go. And actually, it is going to be Wolfhard. Yes! It is the fun talent coming out. But now Wildcard is there to defend as they're looking for Yawners. Going to get hit into the wall with a staggering blow. But we'll be able to just back it out. Wildcard was ready for that Sylvanas cheese. And I mean, that is what Sylvanas is really good at. Everyone hates dealing with it for a reason. Especially that level 1 play. But now Asmochad needs to make their way down to the bot lane. And it's actually going to be Goliath playing solo down here. And with Worgen form, should be pretty good at trading back and forth. Now Rodney's playing a pretty interesting angle. Yawners. And it is important to note, until Blink heal's available, this is not a very mobile healer. Now Yawners is in a bad spot. Going to get jumped by Rodney. They have the overpower into the Shadow Charge. Soothing Mist not going to be able to provide enough of a cleanse. And it's going to be first blood going over to Rodney's imaginary friends. And while we were on the topic of talents, I would also like to point out it is Gathering Storm build coming out from I Just Fizzed. So it's not going to be that auto attack Falstad this time around. But Siege Camp was taken by Goliath, now getting started on the Bruiser Camp. As it's the other way around for Rodney's imaginary friends. They're going to get started with the Bruiser Camp and then probably work their way to the Siege Camp. As Asmochad was able to take down the bot lane Siege Camp. Both sides just going to take their time clearing their camps as Ravar needs to back away from Captain Wedge. Definitely a bit more difficult to play into as Rodney trading with I Just Fizzed. Level 4s are now up for Durotan's couch, but I wouldn't say there's any main advantage coming out from either of these two teams in terms of level leads. Not yet anyway. Just the waves bouncing back and forth will be able to provide a little bit of that difference. Same with them taking their time to take the camps. But now this Siege Camp's actually getting quite a bit of value over in this mid lane. I'm not sure if it'll be able to finish off any of these cannon towers, but they're both going to get quite low. But now they're both stuck just trying to deal with the wave. But that's going to be pretty good value as now they're jumping onto Asmochad. Asmochad will be able to back up behind the wall and even dodge out on that split stream. Twin stream, sorry. That's how Yawner's not actually going to get hit by the staggering blow. Will be fine. And the first seed has spawned. Goliath and Captain Wedge gonna be taking it, just the two of them. But the push in the top side, already the wall is completely taken down, and they actually are going to be able to find Wildcard on the play. As once again, just action happening on all sides of the map. Makes it difficult to know where the fight's going to be starting. As now Snarfungus is getting jumped by Aegis Fizz, but with Drinko there with the potions already laid out on the floor, not going to be too complicated for them to just back it out. Now they have sent 3 top from Rodney's Imaginary Friends. They will be helping clear out all of those neutrals as the final siege camp is going to get jumped on. But now Yonners is going to get caught by the Scroll of Sealing, but Snarfungus could be in a bad spot. Rodney trying to body block and will be able to for now. Wildcard doesn't want to chuck the Diablo into the backline. It would just put Yonners in a much worse spot. Without their main DPSs in the area, they're not able to kind of abuse the fact that Diablo needs to get into melee range for anything. But now Wildcard with the Jet Propulsion able to jump on a Snarfungus. Rodney is going to get interrupted on that play, but will throw Wildcard further onto the backline and is trying to get away. But with Into the Fray and with the phase shift, will be fine, will be healthy. But especially the phase shift getting used is going to be pretty big for this next fight. As now Rave are just trying to DPS slowly. They're on to Captain Wedge. And with the Wrecking Ball, we'll be able to create some space. But the Unstoppable coming out as the Scroll of Sealing lands onto 3 members in the backline as they do zone them all away. Rodney's Imaginary Friends definitely winning out on this teamfight. Wildcard once again trading with Ravar as now they're looking towards Wildcard. They have the Staggering Blow, and with the Hog Wild, Ravar with the final dash able to take them out. And now it's going to be Captain Wedge stuck in the wall. Rodney gonna be blocking them out. And it's going to be a 2-0 for Rodney's Imaginary Friends. And they should be able to take this seed. It is just the 2nd seed of the map. But both teams fighting tooth and nail for it. But the real win here is that Snarfungus is going to be given a little bit of time on her own. It's not going to end up amounting to too much push onto this lane. Without the help of the minions, not able to get too much damage. But it's still going to be the black arrows used. Still going to be a good amount of poke damage onto this top lane fort. Wildcard will be here to collect the wave, but I just fizzed in a bad spot as Ravar able to get that kill as well. And Rodney and Ravar together just able to provide so much DPS and able to provide so much lockdown that even Goliath on this Falstad with the dash isn't able to get away. Now Asmachad gonna lock down that camp as the siege camp will start pushing for them in the bot side. But now Rodney, I think this is just who I should be watching. All the plays have been centered around Rodney so far. And it is 5-0 in terms of kills in favor of Rodney's Imaginary Friends right now. But the push is slowly but surely happening over in the top side. They are pinging on a Drinko. And it looks like they could be looking for that old map, but not going to be able to find it. Staggering Blow will catch Captain Wedge. But they're not going to be able to follow up more than just a little bit of poke damage. But now Rodney hiding over the wall, able to find Captain Wedge. But with the Unstoppable, might be able to back away. And with the Wrecking Ball as well. But now Rodney's just going to body block. The phase shift not going to come out in time. And it's a 6th kill in favor of Rodney's Imaginary Friends. And now they're going to steal away this Bruiser camp. And they're just playing so well together. And they're just playing so well overall. They're already a full level up. They do have control of the seed if they do want it. But having this Bruiser camp first definitely going to help add pressure. It's going to provide a lot of priority towards this bot lane. Not going to deal too much damage, but it does mean that Goliath has to deal with this Bruiser camp. Otherwise, it will end up dealing quite a bit of DPS over to the wall. But now 2nd seed has been collected by Rodney's Imaginary Friends. The Durotan's couch going to be in a pretty bad spot. They will need to try and fight the next one. Now, level 13s are still a bit away for Rodney's Imaginary Friends, and that could be time for Durotan's couch to try and play forward when they are still going to be on that even talent lead. But now Aegis Fizz gets hit into the wall. But Captain Wedge just going to use the Wrecking Ball, pull Rodney away. And with that, they will be good. They will be safe for now. But Snarfungus has time in the top and just trying to pressure out. With the Haunting Wave, will just be able to jump back to safety. Just a little bit of poke at a time, but it does add up. Every single time she does that, it is going to be a lower and lower for it as Rodney looking from the side. And they could try and take down Wildcard with a Bruiser camp. They do have a wave there as well. As the Black Arrows get used, Wildcard gets stunned into the wall with the Scroll of Sealing, but with the bunker, gonna be able to survive and stay a while. And listen, was interrupted by the gust as now Draco gets taunted. And all the DPS going on to that old man. Drinko will go down. The fort will go down. But the Apocalypse will land. But it's 2-0 so far. And Durotan's couch, they're still playing forward. Rodney trying to survive, trying to CC them down, but not going to be enough. It is going to be a 3-0. And Rodney's imaginary friends even had level 13s at least towards the tail end of that fight. But with the positioning, with the play, and most importantly, the gust coming out of I Just Fizzed, I think won them that fight. Being able to keep that stay while and listen from going forward as Ravar will be able to dodge away, just playing really fancy feed right now. And with the polymorph, it's still difficult to catch on to this Genji, but that will still be the second seed going over to Durotan's couch. And I was saying they needed to win that next fight, and that's exactly what they did. Now the game isn't quite in an even state because the top lane fort still went down. Rodney's imaginary friends were still at the very least able to secure that, as now they're looking towards wildcard. But with the jet propulsion, with the twin stream, they will be able to back away as Rodney getting caught out in the bot lane. 4 members strong coming in from Durotan's couch, just playing towards the siege camp. And now with this, they should be getting closer and closer into this game. And there's no one here to clear out the siege camp, but luckily the minions are there just to get in the way, buy a little bit of time, but it'll still allow this wave to push in. And now the wall is, at the very least, going to get taken down here by Durotan's couch. They could look for more, but Ravar is playing in the back line. They have the polymorph. They have so much damage. The deflect will come out, and the extra healing from Drinko will be more than enough to keep Ravar alive, but no major cooldowns used there. Maybe the curse bullet if you count that, but that's a 25-second cooldown. It's not a big deal at all. And the seed is spawning level 14 for both sides. They're basically even in terms of experience here. The wildcard will have the push in the mid lane, but the pressure from the bot lane is going to be there for Rodney's imaginary friends. Now they do see Ravar, and they will be able to get a bit of poke damage, and with the dash actually going to be okay. But now the stay while and listen into the Apocalypse and the X-Strike over top. They were able to take down 2 already. Now Ravar starting to get low, and the gust coming out as well. But they're still able to survive. Drinko able to keep everyone alive. Now Asmachad looking for the bot lane. Captain Wedge trying to get in the way, but won't be able to find anyone else. Snarfungus looking for the play with the black arrows, able to disable the fort. But Captain Wedge still fighting as wildcard goes down off the map. Was caught out somewhere up there, but Captain Wedge still getting pushed back by Snarfungus. And that should be the 3rd seed going to Rodney's imaginary friends. They have no one nearby. There's no one that can defend it. Drinko just taking the long way around and will be able to take this 3rd and final seed as the hero sapling not going to be able to do it. Now siege camp is going to get collected, but I just fizzed in Captain Wedge. But the bot fort goes down. The mid fort should follow, and that's going to be every outer structure gone from the side of Durotan's couch. And Rodney's imaginary friends, they're looking really solid, especially in this game too. They had that one fight that they weren't able to win, but other than that, it's been their dominant map state the entire time. And now there could potentially be a team fight brewing up in this bot side. It is 4v4 down here, and the Garden Terror is still pushing in with that Bruiser Camp as well as Captain Wedge. Almost going to get hit by the Overpower, not going to be able to as Snarfungus gets poked down a little bit. The Black Arrows do come out, but with the wave clear they have, they're going to be able to just clear it away. They'll lose their wall, but they're not going to lose too much more. But lots of stacks starting to get there for I Just Fizzed. Already at 45. Would definitely want a bit more, though, if they want to be able to really start pressuring people down. I think they do need to have enough that with one polymorph, they need to be able to burst down this Genji and burst down Ravar. But still, massive victory right now from Rodney's imaginary friends. They got the final fort in the mid lane, and every single wall is either gone or incredibly low HP on Durotan's couch. And with that, they also have over a level lead. So once those 20s do come out, they're going to have a pretty long power play where they can try to go forward with that. But now Rodney could be in a bad spot. All 5 members on this Diablo and will get taken down. Drinko trying to get their time for the little health potions, but won't be able to. As now the Bruiser Camp, it is going to get jumped upon, and Durotan's couch, they're going to be able to get the kill, and they're going to be able to get something with the kill. And they could even try pressuring up on this top side. The last bit of the fort is going to get taken down, and they will be able to answer for this top lane fort. Now their waves are getting shoved in. Ravar and Asmachad playing really smart, just trying to make sure that every wave is still pushed in. Now the next seed is spawning in 25 seconds. Durotan's couch, in theory, only need one more seed. But at the same time, with their waves pushed in the way they are, and with Rodney's imaginary friends needing 3 before they can get the next set, they don't have to commit to this if they don't want to. And now NGS trying to clear out this bot lane, and should be able to clear it out momentarily, as now they're looking on to this Genji, and Rayvar will get burst down, and that's a massive kill to get as the seed is up. Captain Wedge looking to play forward. They're on Drinko. They found Drinko, but the Apocalypse is going to come out, lands onto so many, and the Soothing Mist not able to come out in time. The Gust will be there as they're able to take down Snarfungus with the last little bit of the Lightning Rod, but everyone's already gone on Durotan's couch. It's just 2 members strong. Make that 1, make that 0, because Rodney's imaginary friends able to take them all down 4v5. And overall, that was a 5-for-2 trade in favor of Rodney's imaginary friends. That Apocalypse into Stay a While and Listen. Usually it's the other way around, but this time that's what's been working for them. And now Asmochad actually pinging towards the fort, or towards the core, but not going to be able to take it down, and will take a decent chunk of damage for it. But it seems like the goal wasn't to take the core, but just to push out the waves and try and let both mid and bottom start pushing in. There's still a lot of time for these waves. They have the siege camp in the top side now, as well as an extra steal, and level 20s are up for Rodney's imaginary friends. 2 level leads, still a level and a half left for Durotan's couch before they can get their storm talents out. Now the next seed is spawning, and the keep does survive, 1 hit away, but it does make a difference because that's not going to be that passive push coming out in the bot lane, at least not yet. They should definitely be able to clear it out, as with the final bit of dynamite, Asmochad will be able to do just that. And the second seed, it's just one of those spots where Durotan's couch really can't play for it. But for this next one, I think they have to regardless. For the, I guess, once again, the 5th seed coming out, as both sides will be 2-2. Bruiser Camp also going to go down in favor of Rodney's imaginary friends. But they want their level 20s. They don't want to fight without it. But at the same time, they might have to. But Rodney could be in a bad spot with the teleport, able to jump out. So we'll be fine for now. But that is still a pretty big cooldown use. The Snarfungus going to get dismounted. Just trading with Wildcard a little bit. And every little bit counts, like I've always been saying. And now this bot lane gonna get shoved in. And level 20 still not there for Durotan's couch. And they really need it, and they really need it soon. They're very close. I think just a couple more waves, and they'll finally have it. But the next seed is going to be in this top side. It is going to be spawning in 25 seconds. They don't have the wave yet. Just need a little bit more push. NGS is the perfect choice to push, because does have that flight, can join in later. And now both teams, this will be the game deciding team fight. Who's going to come out on top, Durotan's couch or Rodney's imaginary friends? Whoever manages to get the clear victory, if Rodney's imaginary friends win, they will be able to just win the game here. But if Durotan's couch are able to win this team fight, they could finally even out the map and bring us back to a neutral state. And now Captain Wedge looking forward for the play. Rodney able to jump onto Captain Wedge and just constantly CC chaining. Now the Apocalypse is going to land, but with the bunker, no one's going to end up getting hit by it. And they're not going to be able to get the facial coming through. And just like that, Captain Wedge is gone. Their main engage is gone. But now Rayvar is going to get hit back. Has the deflect, and with the X-ray going to dodge out. But Asmochad is in the middle of everyone with the Hog Wild. Second blow is ready, knocks them into the wall, and Rodney's in the play. And they got one, they got Goliath. Yawners will follow. Stay a while and listen. Just kidding. Go into the grave. Is this another 5-0 for Rodney's imaginary friends? And with that, they will be able to take the game and take the series in a dominating 2-0 fashion. Rodney's imaginary friends, they are looking good. It is near playoff time, and they're making it count. Yeah, game one was very back and forth, but this game number two, very dominant coming out of Rodney's imaginary friends. They were just able to provide so much pressure. Rodney just everywhere on the map, getting kill after kill after kill. Part of all 19, by the way. I mean, it's pretty common where a tank will be a part of a lot of them, but 100% kill participation That is big. That is well deserved. And yeah, I mean, they just deserve that 2-0. Now I'm gonna start getting set up for the interview, so give me one moment. Da-da-da-da. It's my favorite time of day, trying to get that set up. We'll see if anyone joins, but we'll find out soon enough. Oh, what is this? There we go. And Raka, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good cast. Unfortunately, the timing was a little bit unfortunate. It was the
Hello.
2-0.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Now, for everyone in the stream, I am joined here by Snarfungus and Asmochad. So, first off, congrats on that 2-0 domination. How does it feel?
It
Feels
feels
great.
good. It was fun, yeah.
Yeah. They were fun games.
We like the folks over at Durotan, so it's always fun to play them.
Yeah, it seems like most of these top teams, well, not top teams, but just most of these teams in each of their divisions just know everyone else. And
yeah.
I hear it makes it a lot more fun. It's kind of like sort of in-house games in a way.
A little bit. There are only a few teams that we're unfamiliar with.
Hey, but we're familiarizing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. But now, so I wanted to talk about those games. So game number 1 was pretty back and forth and close for most of the game up until you kind of force them into that play in the bot lane. Asmochad, you had that push going to the top side, and then which forced Durotan's couch to reply in the bot lane, and then you just had the massive cleanup team fight and were able to end it from there. But what I really wanted to ask is, was that fully communicated? Was that the intent of the play, trying to force them to race you on the opposite end of the map?
Not really. I think we just kind of noticed that Blaze was bottom as well, so there wasn't really any point for the top two to back. It was just like, okay, they're gonna get the keep no matter what, but there's no way they're ending the game unless we die. So we just kind of casually traded, but then we ended up getting the gust separating the Uther. So we took the kill on the Uther. They couldn't really do anything about it, and then we were able to just clean up the fight from there. That game, the play was just don't fight them because they're double support. So it's just play the map, don't do anything that's going to get you killed.
I think ultimately we could have taken the base race with the Falstad and the huge wave on the core, just because, 5 people pushing into 3 people on core is a lot harder than 2 people pushing onto nobody on core.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it ended up working out in your favor. So we do results-based analysis over on this stream.
Mm-hmm.
But now, and then game number 2, it seemed like game 2 was much more one-sided. It doesn't seem like it ever really left your control. I mean, big shout-outs to Rodney in that game, 100% kill participation on the Diablo. But what do you think was the difference between those two games that enabled you to play so much more powerfully?
I think we play a lot more Garden. We usually ban Dragonshire. That was like our first of the season that we didn't ban Dragonshire.
It was also nice not having to, not engage every fight because the enemy team is double support.
Right.
Yeah, so
the play is kind of just disengage.
So I think that because they only had that one healer to kind of let you play at your own pace instead of always having to either 100% or just avoid.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think it also makes the game a lot less stressful too, because into double support comps, you have to pick your all or nothing moments, and it can mean like losing or winning the game right there in the team fight.
Yeah, exactly. Always stressful trying to figure that out, especially on the fly.
Yeah, and it's also with a comp like that, it's kind of going to be hard to trade 1 for 1, 2 for 2. It's going to be like one whole team is going to die, and you just have to make sure it's not you.
Yeah, exactly. But now with this domination, this does put you up at 23 points. You are tied for third with 9-5. However, you also have less games played than any of the top 3. I believe in terms of games played, only inting for globes is guaranteed to stay above you once you reach them, but top 2 is well within reach.
Yeah, it's our games are kind like our number played is kind of messed up because we had our second week we had a bye, and then third week we were supposed to play meme makers. So like they ended up withdrawing, so everybody got those points, but that was a match we were supposed to play, whereas the other teams were supposed to play them later in the season. So they got like an extra game added on, and that was a game we were gonna play anyway. So we look like we're behind, but we really aren't. We just haven't played any flex matches yet.
So now with that being said, where do you think you will end up, and where do you hope to end up for the end of the regular season?
Second.
That's the answer for both?
Yeah.
Yeah, second.
Yeah, as high as you can. Second.
Yeah. I think pre-playoffs is going to be second, and then I really want to beat Inting for Globes this year because we lost to them for the last like 2 seasons, I think. But we have a lot of close games whenever we play them, and I would love to beat them for once.
Yeah. I think it's within reach.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it's definitely going to be exciting to watch in that best of 5. Hopefully, I'll be the one casting that game as well.
Oh, I would love that. I'll request you.
For sure.
All right. But with that, thank you for coming for the interview, and once again, congratulations on your domination.
Thank you, and thank you for
very much.
casting.
Yeah, always happy to, as you know. Well, have a good night.
Good night.
And with that, we are done here. Thanks again, Rocco, for the raid, but we're just wrapping up here as well. I will be back again tomorrow with a double cast. First, Division E, Yavapai versus 30 Seconds to Mosh at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And then after that, it will be B West, Surely We Scale versus Bunker Fun Time at 7:45 Pacific or 10:45 Eastern. Hope to see you there. Thanks all for coming out, and have a good night.